Hello everyone, I'm Santiago, and today I'm gonna be testing Borderlands 4 on Steam Deck once again. How you doing, guys? Welcome. First of all, thanks to 2K for providing a code of the game when it came out actually, which I found pretty surprising. They still talk to me somehow. So I'm doing this video because it's now verified, and considering how I run on my PC, it's UE5. I'm not sure what to think about this. I'm like, there's no way. Maybe it's Oblivion remastered situation where it barely works properly, but hey, it's verified, so I need to test it. So before jumping into the game, actually, I wanted to take a look on what it ran like when I made the first video. It was 4 months ago, and well, at 400p, I know, Inception going in the background. At 400p, I had like 20 FPS at the very beginning at the lowest settings. So performance upscaling at 800p. So yeah, it wasn't particularly amazing. I mean, just look at that. CPU limited, very clear. Verified means it runs fine when it looks like Borderlands 1. Yeah, the thing is, Borderlands 1 actually does look better than this on Steam Deck. I mean, it has a higher resolution. It doesn't have dynamic lighting on certain light sources, but hey. And there was a Switch 2 port coming out a few months after the PC version, and I was like, okay, I'm going to try it on Switch 2. I said that a few months ago, once it lands on Switch 2, but then they delayed it indefinitely, and now it's paused on Switch 2. I'm guessing it's a CPU limitation because on GPU they are faster on Switch 2, but on CPU they are behind the Steam Deck, which is pretty funny if you think about it. And this game was heavily CPU bound as well. So yeah. Anyway, I use also Lossless Scaling because people usually ask about it. And it was into the 40s and 50s. That means 20-something FPS. And thank you so much, Sahendra, for the 20 Indian rupees donation. Thank you so much, sir. How's it going? It's been a while. So yeah, performance 20 FPS basically at the lowest. With lossless scaling, you get about 30, but it's actually internally 20. So yeah. Anyway, let's get into it. Borderlands 4 on deck is like Borderlands 2 on Vita. Actually, yeah, it reminded me of Borderlands 2 on the Vita. But on Borderlands 2 on the Vita, if you run around Sanctuary a bit, it was like 15 FPS at times. It was pretty funny. I tried it once, and it was a great experience. So much nostalgia. Also, guys, are you interested in me trying this one? Agent 64. I got an invite for the playtest. I think it's ideal for Steam Deck, that one. Emulating desktop resolution with Proton tricks. I haven't done that in a while. So anyway, Borderlands 4 on Steam Deck, verified somehow. It came out September 11th, 2025. It was 20-something FPS when I tried it on day one at performance upscaling. Now apparently it performs well on Steam Deck with the default graphics. It didn't have any specific graphical setting for Steam Deck. It was just a PC version. So let's give it a shot. No Proton shenanigans. We're doing anything by default and see what happens. But yeah, that's how it goes. Let's see what happens. Valve should create a new rating system called Terrified. I mean, Terrified is fantastic. I use it a lot to speak about my experiences on certain games on Steam Deck. Especially Oblivion Remastered. That was the first time I did that. It's hilarious. But hey, that's what I'm here for. What do you consider good enough for Steam Deck? 30 or 60? I mean, 60 is nice, but let's be honest. It's 30 FPS is fine. It's a portable device. Portable devices are all about sacrifices. To get a game that is not even on PS4 to run on a portable device, sacrifices need to be made. So I think 30 is fine. As long as the game looks decent enough, I think it's fine. Thank you so much, RM Beer, for becoming an awesome supporter 1.0. Thank you so much, sir. I appreciate that. I hope you're doing well. Do you enjoy Borderlands, or did you buy it just because it was controversial? No, I didn't buy it. I got a review code, but I played Borderlands since the first one on my GTS 450. So now the graphic settings actually is either quality or performance, which, okay, VSync on or off, stats, and the HUD area. So now you don't have the same settings as PC. Hopefully this means decent performance, but yeah, I think this is great to have on Steam Deck as long as it's well made. The thing is, a warning, if you change this, restart the game. Otherwise, the game will have incomplete graphics because it's compiling shaders once again. So let's try quality and see what happens, what it looks like, and then we're going to try performance and restart the game. But already that it has its own preset for Steam Deck is a good sign. Accessibility. Subtitles, you can increase the size. That's good for smaller screens like the Steam Deck. And let's see what else we have. Okay, the scaling of the text. You can increase it. Now it's at 2 by default. That's wonderful. A lot of good accessibility options. Map zoom speed. This doesn't matter to me. Screen shake. I'm not a fan of screen shake. Camera bob. Also not a fan. And that should be good enough, I guess. So yeah, just the quality setting. You don't even have a resolution option for this one. You compare this with your kind of bad PC. That's okay. I understand. So in this game, I barely played 2 hours. I just wanted to get to the open locations. So yeah, let's see what happens. Directly into the open world. Thanks, Cupstain1728. Happy to help. Todo bien, Arnold. ¿Vos qué tal? Okay. Okay, with my mouse it doesn't work. So I'm going to play with a controller. With the controller. So, interesting. Some games on Steam Deck don't allow you to use mouse and keyboard for some reason. This makes me a bit uncomfortable when streaming, but hey, sacrifices need to be made. There it goes. Okay, resolution is pretty damn low already, I can tell you. But that's, again, to be expected. It's a Steam Deck at the end of the day. But this is the quality mode. And it's not locked to 30 FPS. It's very, very fuzzy. I'm also capturing this on a capture card, so it won't look as good on the smaller screen. It won't look as good as the smaller screen. It'll be more obvious. Okay, it's raining. Ooh. Okay, stuttering. CPU usage maxed out. Although, so far, it's using the CPU way less than on release. I'm pretty sure they did something. They made a custom setting for the Steam Deck. Yeah, I mean, you can see the blurring around the gun as well. And there's also clearly global illumination still going on, because you can see it update with the smaller... I mean, when you're doing ray tracing, if it's a very small resolution, there's very few rays to do the global illumination. So it updates in real time very slowly, so those trays kind of flicker when you move around. But honestly, this gives me Borderlands 2 on the beta vibes. I mean, just look at the lines into the distance. They also removed the grass, which is a big performance improvement generally speaking. And I can see those big edges. So yeah, it kind of does look like Borderlands 2 on the beta, honestly. Which is pretty funny. But as you can see, yeah, grass is basically missing. This looks similar at a lower resolution though than what the Switch 2 trailer looked like, actually. But hey, this is way better than on day one. They actually did a great job in comparison. It's not perfect so far, first impressions obviously, but it was at 20 FPS on day one. That's interesting. I mean, some stuttering here and there, but overall the usage of the resources is better. Obviously the graphics are clearly below low on PC. That's what I'm noticing. Let's go somewhere else. Yeah, Steam Deck 2 would be nice, but it will be worth the wait, I'm pretty sure. And it's compiling shaders also. Okay. Let's see. I mean, yeah, the Steam Deck is being used 100%. But now the difference is that the GPU clock stays at 1300. Okay, no fall damage, good. In the first video I made on this, on day 1, it wasn't even able to maintain 900 MHz on the CPU. So it's definitely an improvement, but this being the quality mode, I don't even want to know what the performance mode looks like. I'll try it, obviously. Hang on, I have to shoot the ball sack of that enemy. Hold up. I mean, I was expecting way worse than this. It runs better than Oblivion Remastered, which is a very low bar to surpass. But so far it's not too bad. Considering how bad it works on PC, this is way better than I was expecting.
Always feels good.
We need some combat though, some more hardcore combat. I don't remember where the boss was. I think I have another character. Hold up. Yeah, I think it will be better if I just... Hold up. I think I got this. Okay. Let me use my other save that is at the beginning of the game. So it's more fair for a comparison. We're going to go to another save. Notable input lag? No, input lag is way better because we're not using frame gen. We're on the quality mode. It feels good so far. The thing is, when I was running around, it was stuttering. But it wasn't so bad. It was actually playable. Let's make a new character. Let's play on normal. Script the prologue. I cannot skip actually the first cutscene. So let's give it a shot with something that gives us effects on screen. Incendiary. And let's see what happens. No, the Deck 2, I'm pretty sure, I mean, they want more than 50% performance improvement without a battery life sacrifice. That tells you enough about what Valve wants.
Hello,
Oh, I'm still here, okay.
Trash. I am a CL4PTP steward bot, but you can call me Claptrap, last vestige of the Crimson Resistance.
Actually, no, let's go through the prologue then. The prologue is a different area. It's not open, but it's the area that I tried in my previous video. You're thinking about Art Raiders with mouse and keyboard on a 50-inch TV. Do you think there will be input lag? You're talking about the Steam Deck. I mean, it will be very blurry on your big screen, but it works. Definitely. I mean, it does work, but it won't look great. The input lag will be fine, because as long as you keep the same resolution, you should be good. Let's see if I can skip this. Oh yeah, I can. Thank God. Okay, thank God they updated that. Glossy one or edged one? This is the... Oh, you mean the screen? This one is the glossy one. If you're talking about that dude's TV, it's probably glossy.
That one.
Well, one thing that I remember the first time I recorded this part was like 15 FPS.
Really hope I just blew up the right room.
Okay, there we go. Prologue. So here, again,
Right here.
we just looked at the video of me trying this on day 1. It was 15 to 25 FPS at the very beginning of the game, which is here, basically. And then you get outside, and it's nighttime, there's a few wolves, and there's also
Come on. Let's get
a few small lights that cast shadows, which I'm not sure those will be here now. I'm pretty sure they downgraded the graphics, which is fine, it's a portable device.
Are you a vault
As I was saying, when I tried this game on the Steam Deck video, Once the Switch 2 version releases, maybe we have a lower preset that probably will run well on Steam Deck. And they basically delayed the Switch 2 version, and now they announced they paused development for the Switch 2 version. So I'm pretty sure the Switch 2 graphics were imported to this. When it comes to the preset, I mean, not the resolution. Yeah, this is already way better than on my video. On my video, when the game came out at the lowest settings, there was nowhere close 30 FPS, and we were heavily CPU limited. Now, this is night and day in comparison to day one. That doesn't mean it should be verified. How would you go about using your Steam Deck on your ROG Ally? I think there's a way to force it actually. I'm not sure how, but the Steam Deck =1 command actually does work on Windows with a script. So I think that would be a good video to make actually. If you have a low-end PC, you probably also want to use the Steam Deck settings.
Banged up? Grab this rep kit. Should take the edge off.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, I can already notice there's a lot of places that do not cast shadows. But that's okay. I don't need that. Have you seen both screens of deck? Which one would you recommend? I mean, the etched screen, not the glossy one, actually has less reflections. They're softer reflections, but I don't think it's worth the difference. Also, it changes the colors, mutes the colors a little bit, according to some people. I don't think it's a huge loss, personally, for what I've seen in videos. I haven't seen it in real life, though. So I have to take people's word for it, but I don't know, it just doesn't feel absolutely necessary. Guys, I'm not sure why they added a performance mode as well. I mean, this is clearly not going to be above 40s by lowering the graphics. I don't know what they're thinking, honestly. I think this should be just 30 FPS and keep one preset. From Steam with keyboard and mouse by dongle, yeah, you can do that as well, or Bluetooth, or a dock. And the game so far doesn't look bad. I mean, the resolution is pretty low, but it's not like a fuzzy mess that I cannot see anything in front of me. Let's see, soft shadows, no, nothing.
Got an idea that'll buy us some time. We're gonna crack this prison wide open. Vault Hunter.
Also, input lag is fine so far. It's just an impression, or do subtitles get blurred whenever you run? Yeah, that's true. That's TSR. That's freaking stupid. Hit the switch. Oh, my bad. Let's see. No, actually, it's not softening the subtitles. Maybe it's just a video compression. Also, no, there's a bit of yeah, blurriness. Actually, there's screen space reflections. What the hell? I thought they were turning those off. If you look here in the middle of the screen, there's actual screen space reflections. I thought they were going to skip those. Although I don't see any shadows coming from those lights. That's probably what improves performance so much. Yep, static lighting. As you can see, these shadows are fake. This is how it should have been. If you don't do exclusively ray tracing, you can actually get decent results. I don't need shadows everywhere. Is it verified? I mean, it is. I wasn't expecting it, but it's running way better than I expected so far. Again, these are first impressions, but still. Some stuttering the first time I launched the game, but otherwise, it's been fine. God, I suck with a controller. But that's okay. Really? Through the wall? Okay. Oh, this gun is horrible. Lossless scaling? I mean, no, I'm not using any lossless scaling right now. That guy is tiny, what the hell?
They're bolted, just like us. Won't be long before the timekeeper walks them right back into their cells.
But as I was saying, let's see if these shadows are fake. I think so. Yeah, they're still big shadows here. These ones. These are not real time. That's awesome. Yeah, I want to try if it works on offline. That's a good point. If I'm on a plane, I'm not going to go into the internet. I'm going to give it a shot later. And also, it's using all of the RAM. Our 16 gigs are being utilized. 10 gigs as system RAM, and the rest as video memory. But for some reason my keyboard and mouse don't work on gameplay. But some Steam games, some Steam Deck games do that. Try an intense map? Yeah, I'm going to. I'm trying this area because it's what I showed on my first video, just as a piece of comparison.
Good. Now, follow my lead, all right?
Here we go. Thanks, Andre. Andre? Yeah. Thanks, man.
We gotta slide down. Come on.
Okay, once we get down here... Yeah, this is not a real shadow either. That's good. In this part, I remember having dynamic shadows on quite a few surfaces. So it will be a good place to compare. It's funny that jumping into the water is like a big deal to my character. Also, by the way, screen space reflections. Good stuff.
Indeed.
And cube maps.
We clear of the timekeeper's minions then.
Let's see, I remember this light in particular did cast shadows. And as I said in the video, guys, cut this feature. We don't need real-time shadows from every light source on a freaking Steam Deck. And they did. They actually did remove it. And also, again, these shadows here are baked shadows. These are not real-time. If you look at my character, it doesn't cast a shadow. Pretty much tweaks that they would have done on a Switch 2, as an example. Great job. So far, the cuts make sense for a portable device, although the resolution drops way lower in the open world. So let's go back to the open world. I think that would be more fair for a real test. Although, when I miss... Hang on, I'll advance a little bit longer. Hey, how's it going, Jones family?
Might be a tight squeeze through there.
Switch 2, you have to pay to play online? Yeah.
RJ,
On Fortnite, I don't think so, actually. Yeah, this also doesn't cast shadows. Good.
I will simply rip it out with my hands.
Whoa, no. That thing is in there, hitched to your nervous system. When people try to rip their bolt out, it turns
I was going that way. I missed it.
Straight up kills them.
Also, one other thing, the draw distance is obviously way lower. If you look here, especially for vegetation, it pops in. It makes complete sense. Again, to save on performance, it's a very clear downgrade that they have to do. Smart. That's how it should have been. Why do I have this light here? Oh, of course. I missed it. I'm an idiot. Let's see. This doesn't cast shadows either. That's perfect. Is this performance or quality mode? It's quality mode. I put it at the bottom left corner of the video, so you can see what I'm doing. We're going to switch to performance mode in a bit, but I think quality mode makes a lot of sense right now. Let's see. This light also did cast shadows.
And if we can get you
it doesn't cast shadows anymore. Perfection.
We'll jam yours
Okay,
too.
they did smart cuts. This is fine. These are cuts that I would have made. I mean, these are basic things that the developers should know if they're optimizing for lower-end hardware. I mean, the fact that we couldn't turn off those dynamic shadows from all those smaller lights on day one made no sense to me. I don't know if this is open to the PC when I open this game on PC as well, but for lower-end PCs, that's a big win as well. Same with the shadows here that don't actually move. These shadows are fake. That's why the enemies don't cast shadows here. But considering it's a cartoonish looking game, it's fine. These are cuts. It's a 2020 to 2021 portable machine. It has no business running this game, considering how it runs on PC. So they delayed indefinitely the Switch 2 version. Now they said they paused development on the Switch 2 version. So I think the Steam Deck got the benefits from the Switch 2 development. The problem with the Switch 2 is the anemic CPU. I agree completely. On GPU is way faster than Steam Deck, the Switch 2. But when it comes to hold up. 12 minutes, 0 minutes. But when it comes to the CPU, the Steam Deck actually gets ahead, which I find hilarious, actually. Because the Switch 2 came out last year. So it came out 3 to 4 years later. That eye is broken. I didn't load the asset. But see, there's some bugs here and there. Okay, so now is the open world. Let me see. Yeah, there's no self-shadows. So these are fake shadows. That's okay. The thing is... But I can notice that the resolution is pretty low, obviously. But still, there's screen space reflections. They could have cut the reflections and have like water that looks like milk. But no, they actually did put the reflections in there.
He did not make it.
Yeah, the thing is, the Switch 2, when it's docked, maybe it can handle the game fine. The thing is, when it goes to portable mode, I think they will have a very hard time consistently playing this. But if the Switch 2 version ever comes out, I'll be comparing it, that's for sure. This is fine so far. Guys, I don't know if verified is the right word, but it runs pretty well so far. I'll see once I get into a boss fight. But I'm surprised. I was expecting so much worse after playing the game for the first time. This is actually pretty surprising. Desktop benchmark videos. The thing is, I have a lot of work now that I'm a full-time Unity VR developer, that I can barely have time to stream. I haven't streamed in like 3 weeks. So I have to focus on one thing. I want to do PC as well, but time is difficult right now. Discontinuous not equal being cancelled. Yeah, the thing is, they said they paused development. That's already a bad sign. One thing is pausing development, delaying is another. First they delayed it, then they said pause. That's a bad look. Yeah, I'm also noticing that some assets take some time to load. But so far this is okay. Considering it ran at 10 to 15 FPS on day one, this is a big improvement. So as you can see, if there is enough complaints, they can actually do something about it. You're a game dev? Kinda. I'm a developer, but I only do VR stuff on Unity. I do some of the logic and stuff. I basically implement what the artists do. At the beginning it's all cubes and stuff. And then I grab the final assets, put them in, and do the logic. It's actually a lot of fun. My brain gets fried in the process. But yeah, kinda. With the simulations. It's pretty cool. I really enjoy it, but it takes a lot of time. Especially now that I'm full-time. Reminds you of Borderlands on the beta. Yeah, it's like Borderlands on the beta visually, kinda. But it runs way better than Borderlands on the beta. Without a doubt. Okay, let's lock it to 30. And then we're doing that boss fight that I promised. So let's lock it to 30 and see what it looks like. We don't have a 30 FPS lock inside the game. We have to do it from the Steam Deck's menu, but again, so far so good. Let's see if this keeps the resolution at bay. But the resolution is pretty low. I wouldn't say it's unplayable. I think it's fine. I'm pretty surprised. Borderlands was a PS3 game. I mean, yeah, it was. I want to get a little bit more ahead because I know there was a lot of combat. $20 FPS. Yeah, it was 20 FPS on the beta very often. It was very inconsistent. Not so long ago, I got a beta, then I sold it because I lost interest. I already had a Steam Deck for emulation. And I tried Borderlands 2, and it was horrible. Especially considering how small the sticks are. I think that made it even more difficult.
These are batteries.
Yeah, no. My aiming is horrible, and actually the 30 FPS cap from SteamOS doesn't feel great. But that's the norm, unfortunately. Does the Steam Deck emulate PS Beta well? I haven't tried it actually. I don't think so.
Really?
The thing is, the PS Beta emulator still needs a lot of work. Yeah, but as you can probably see if you zoom in a little bit, this is the quality mode. If I zoom in, things into the distance have those artifacts from TSR. So if you look at it, fine detail is lost, especially on a lot of contrast. In this case, we're looking at the sky, which is completely clear, and something in the middle that is a bit darker, so you get those artifacts. But then, if you look at it with something in the background that is also dark, it's less obvious, but it's still there. Again, sacrifices that need to be made in order for a portable device to be able to play the game. Yeah, nothing emulates beta well yet. The thing is, that emulator is still incomplete. The anime run. The Naruto run. But I noticed, again, the dynamic shadows are missing, which, again, is the first thing. Finally, they freaking put backlighting in the game. I mean, I'm fine without it. Same with the grass. Missing grass? Meh, who cares? I want good performance. Okay, finally some real combat. Okay, now it makes more sense. Frame times are a bit worse. But again, overall, it runs better, way better than Oblivion Remastered. And it stutters way less than Oblivion Remastered, so I think it's a good effort. They didn't just remove the shadows and make everything potato quality and call it a day. This actually fairly took effort.
I know. I'm a giver. Why didn't I think of that?
So yeah, I think they did great work so far, all things considered. Steam Deck is okay in 2026. It can still run most games. Yeah. The thing is, a lot of games, especially modern ones, don't run particularly amazing, but again, it's a 2020, it's a 5-year-old device, or 6-year-old device at this point. A 6-year-old portable device. So the fact that they could even make it work here is fine. And considering, again, that this game runs bad on PC. Very bad on PC. When I saw verified, I was like, no, they're kidding. This cannot be real. Okay, could you fix this? No, I have to kill the 2 enemies at the corner of the map. Gotcha. Legion Go S Z1 is the better buy. The one that comes with SteamOS? Yeah, maybe. Actually, is it Z1 or the Z1 Extreme? Because that's very different. Okay, are they stuck under the map or something? Okay. Go is Z1 Extreme. There's also Z2 Go version, which is cut down 6800U. Yeah, the Z1 Extreme I think is fantastic. I'll probably have to go up there. No? I think I missed something in the dialogue. I have to probably go up there myself. Let's see. I completely forgot what I was doing in this. Does the game have HDR support? I don't know, I don't think so. At least not on the OLED. I think it was a bug. Yes, it is.
What were those imbeciles doing?
Yeah, it was a bug. Yeah, not sure if that was Steam Deck specific, but there was a bug there. You feel like the Z1 Extreme is the sweet spot in 2026? Yeah, definitely. Especially when it comes to CPU performance. 8 cores, 16 threads versus 4 cores, 4 threads on Steam Deck. But I'm very close to a boss fight. Let me unlock the frame rate again. It doesn't feel great with the FPS lock, honestly. The SteamOS FPS lock sometimes gives bad latency. This is one of those examples, unfortunately. At least at 30 FPS. Yeah, this is so much better. The thing is, you sacrifice battery life for this. 3 had HDR and it looked pretty good. Okay. Yeah, maybe because I'm plugged into my capture card. Maybe HDR doesn't show up. Recently bought a 13500 processor. Oh, awesome. It's a great purchase, actually. Congrats. Also, you can use DDR4 RAM. So it makes a lot of sense right now. Okay, it's the other way. Steam Deck is perfect if you plan on playing older games. Yeah, for older games, it's fantastic. No way around it. The amount of times that I played The Phantom Pain on the Steam Deck. Dude. Or the Resident Evil franchise. I played every Resident Evil on it. Now with the Resident Evil 4 remake, new DRM that kills performance is horrible, but you can use the previous version if you download the old executable. I mean, you don't have to be on the bleeding edge of gaming. The bleeding edge of gaming is not that great though. Lately it's been very hit or miss. There we go. I forgot how to grenade.
I shall lay you low.
Give me one sec, guys. I'm required at work for one thing. I'm sorry. Won't take long. They're asking me about a resolution for a texture. So, guys, what do you think so far? Do you think this should be verified? Okay. And should I go for Steam Deck OLED or ROG Ally X? The ROG Ally X is much more powerful, lots more memory. And if you install SteamOS on it, you should be good. It's very similar to the Steam Deck experience. I can just climb this? Great. I just arrived. This is quality mode? Yeah. You know what? I don't know why they put two modes. I don't think it makes a lot of sense. Because it won't be above 40 across the board. There's no way. We're going to try performance mode in a bit. But again, considering it's a Steam Deck, I wouldn't put two modes. Quality mode already doesn't have dynamic shadows, but it's fine. We have those baked lighting shadows in it. There we go. Here is when I started dying on PC, because I was looking at textures instead of playing. Okay, here's where it dropped first, because of CPU limitation. But it seems to be okay. It does run worse here. So maybe that's what the performance mode was aiming for. Maybe less drops in here.
Gotta do better than that, Walter. You ever just wanna?
My valve standards verified as it runs fine. The issue is close. Looking at a completely different game. Yeah, I mean, verified. They're not saying, oh, it's 30 FPS. They're saying it runs with the default settings. It runs. What was the word they used? I mean, that means basically it's 30-ish FPS. They're not saying a specific number. They're saying, okay, it launches by itself, you don't need to do any tweaks, and it's a good experience. But they also call it in the store great on deck. Doubt. But again, considering what the game ran on day one, this is much, much better. It's crazy that it runs so much better. Props to them. Cool. It's like, I feel like getting a Steam Deck and waiting for the discounts is a good value. Exactly the way. Wow, this gun is awesome. But again, if you look at this, hold up. I destroyed the head. So as I was saying, if you look at it this way, this part, I'm looking into the distance, resolution is pretty low. It kind of looks like the PS Vita version when it comes to draw distance and stuff there. And you can see that the enemies have artifacts around them. On the smaller screen, it's less obvious. But again, it's a UE5 game that runs bad on PC, running at 30 on a Steam Deck.
Give you a chance to fight back.
I wasn't expecting this, but it runs so much better than I expected. So again, I think they did the correct adjustments. This is probably what we got because they were working on a Switch 2 version, and probably the Steam Deck inherited those settings. Not when it comes to resolution, but when it comes to the static lighting and the draw distance cuts and the lack of grass. It makes sense. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to know what the performance mode will look like. It's probably going to be horrible. But hold up. I'm going to get to a part that has a boss fight. And we're going to try performance mode. Apologies for the delay. But here is way more representative of what the game runs like. Yeah, here I'm shooting a pixel with another pixel in this part. This part drops resolution pretty hard. I mean, just look at that crane into the distance. Randy be like, the game was optimized, now it's more optimized. Yeah, right. Oh man. Randy, it's a premium game for premium gamers. Makes a Steam Deck patch. Oh my god. I suck. Yeah, especially now, it's dropping resolution pretty hard. Switch 2 is a complete disaster. There's no games for it. I mean, I think we're going to get more games in a few years because it came out last year and apparently the dev kits weren't very available. And as you can see, there is dynamic lighting, but it doesn't affect everything. The main character doesn't have a shadow. The enemies don't have shadows, but the props around the game do have shadows. This explosive does cast a shadow in real time, but the character doesn't. And some of the static elements also don't cast shadows. See, this ammo clip does cast a shadow, but when you grab it, it disappears. It makes a lot of sense. What's up? How's it going, Lewis? Lewis! Okay, so the boss fight will be, as soon as I get there, there will be a guy attacking me. Let's see. Ooh, yeah, it's mashed potatoes now.
I'm not the only one smelling this Yahoo, right? And I fucking hate him.
Yours, not mine.
Yeah, here is when it drops harder, but it makes sense. Still, I can play just fine. Oh yeah, I have grenades as well. It's playable. Gearbox sent in a video of the first hour probably for the game to get verified status. I mean, I agree. That's usually what it looks like when it comes to Valve verification. And also, if you guys think about it, this is a great ad for Steam Deck if the game is verified. It's a good news for Valve if they are saying, oh look, this UE5 game that runs awful on PC is actually verified on Steam Deck. Wow! And that means more sales for Steam Deck because they say, oh, it runs well on our platform. It's very compromised, don't get me wrong, but I think it's cut in the right places. Just the fact that it does have reflections kind of blows my mind. I was expecting that to be cut first. Let's see the performance mode now. The performance mode, I will have to restart the game. But when it comes to the quality mode, I'm pretty surprised, honestly. I was expecting so much worse. So you have quality or performance, which will recompile some shaders. Some stuff will be missing. So let's see how it goes. Yeah, I mean, for short sessions, I don't think it's a bad idea. What I do like about this flow when it comes to playing the game on Steam Deck, just think about it for a moment. You are exploring the open world, maybe getting those fast travel points, and you do that outside of your house. Then you go to your big PC and continue your save file there, and you don't lose your progress because it's the same game. It's the same PC version. So let's see performance mode. Yeah, I need to restart the game now. I'm not sure what performance mode has in comparison. Maybe some stuff doesn't show up, maybe? Yeah, that was quality. Yeah, that's hilarious. Funny how this is verified, but the rest of the Borderlands games aren't. They're not. Maybe it's because of the UI. Who knows? Well, guys, I forgot. I actually made videos on every Borderlands game on Steam Deck. Let me share it super quick. Yeah, I did it. In 2023, I made a video with every Borderlands. So if you want to check it out, I left it. What's internal resolution? I have no freaking idea, unfortunately. But it's definitely either performance upscaling or lower. I'm guessing 50% resolution at best. Oh yeah, Tiny Tina. I forget it's a Borderlands game. But the other Borderlands games run pretty well. Well, the pre-sequel doesn't run particularly amazing. It has some stuttering issues. So yeah. The game looks really nice on stronger hardware though. Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, look at that model that didn't load yet. Okay, let's see. Options, visuals. Yeah, we are on performance now. Let's see what it looks like. And what it runs like. And it's definitely compiling shaders now. Yeah, I mean, UE5 improved with updates, but many games were made before those updates. So I think it's not as, how to say this, as effective. But it'll improve with time, I'm pretty sure. The thing is, developers need to do their freaking jobs. Okay, shadows are still there. And again, this is kind of like static lighting, but this is dynamic lighting only for this world shadows, because the enemies don't cast shadows, you don't cast shadows. Some smaller objects do cast shadows, but they're mostly removed. Okay. Oh, I see. I think the draw distance of the shadows is worse on performance mode. That's the first thing that I'm noticing. I have to try it again later, but yeah, I see more pop in. But the resolution doesn't seem that different. And this guy, for some reason, is not shooting at me.
I'll look bigger up close.
Okay.
You need a safe space.
Yeah, what I'm noticing, it takes a bit the first time you launch the game to actually get all the assets loaded properly. The game doesn't seem to compile all the shaders on launch. Let's see, do we still have reflections? Yeah, we do. Somehow they kept the screen space reflections. Not complaining. Screen space reflections are nice. I think I know why they keep the reflections though. Without the reflections, if they didn't put decent cube maps, the water will look like milk. Like this. See, I'm not sure, apart from the draw distance of the shadows, what else could be cut. Yep. Do you think, with devs potentially making games with Switch 2 and Steam Deck in mind, games will be more optimized? I'm pretty sure, not due to the Steam Deck specifically. For the Switch 2, that is a very fast-selling console that a lot of people buy. That makes the developers already make things a little bit more optimized for a smaller machine when it comes to hardware. So due to the updates they do for the Switch 2 to run the game properly, or run at all, damn it, that benefits the Steam Deck because they already made a quote-unquote less demanding version of the game for the Switch 2. A good example of this is games from the people that made Silent Hill 2 remake, Bluebird Team. They released Chronos: The New Dawn, I think it was called, Chronos. And that game runs pretty well on Switch 2, and the Steam Deck settings are actually very low, which is below the PC's low setting, and it looks like the Switch 2 version. So I'm pretty sure that helps a lot. The fact that the Switch 2 gets more support, that means there's already work done to make a lesser looking version. So that's a good thing. FrameGen is on by default on these presets? I don't think so. It doesn't feel like it. I didn't see any artifacts. I mean, it feels good. It responds right away. I don't think this is frame generated. And if it is, color me surprised because I don't notice it. The input lag is great. Let me see, I'll die. Let me see where I am. I have a... Okay. I'm right here. I can actually replay this section if I want to. And I have more of the map unlocked. So let's go with my other character that is more ahead. And let's do the boss fight again. Yeah, I'll try Lossless Scaling, don't worry. But so far, I'm pretty impressed. I was expecting so much worse. I mean, the cuts they did make a lot of sense. Do you know why games like Neo 3 has the annoying thing where the game logic engine is tied to the frame rate, makes the game moves in slow-mo when the frames drop? That's probably just legacy code. Okay, it's loading the assets. I mean, the resolution doesn't seem to be much lower. Okay, yeah, it's definitely compiling shaders in real time. Because this area I haven't visited it in performance mode. And I get those stutters and maximum CPU usage. And as I play more, there's less stutter. So there's definitely shader compilation at the beginning. Yeah, I'm noticing that the draw distance for the vegetation is worse on performance mode. Same for the shadows. The shadow resolution seems to be a bit lower. Let's see, I'll look into here like this. And let me record a few seconds. No, actually, let's continue like this. So this is performance mode. And yeah, this is basically a pixel flying around. But I don't see much of a reason to go with performance mode so far. I'll probably do it in the video, the comparison. I need to get back in here. Yeah, that way. But I'm not noticing much of an incentive to go to the performance mode. No, I'm on the SSD. Yeah, I'm also noticing that the ground with the missing better level of detail, some of the ground has edges. But I mean, that's a minor thing. You're going to wait for a bigger sale? Yeah, I mean, wait for a bigger sale, definitely. But as you can see, again, cuts here, no grass, it's just a flat texture, which is what I saw on the Switch 2 trailer. Yeah, there's less grass on performance mode, actually, now that I'm noticing. Yeah, I don't see any grass at all. Yeah, I think quality mode makes a lot more sense. Show at how well this is now on Steam Deck. I agree. Okay, here's grass. Gotcha. Okay. So there is some patches of grass, but again, it's secondary. Okay, I need to go all the way around. Feels like they attempted to do 30 FPS quality and 40 FPS performance. That's probably what they wanted for the Switch 2. I'm pretty sure, again, this is directly tied to that. Okay, this is the part that started dropping frames pretty hard on quality mode. Yeah, also, I noticed more shadow flickering. But again, very, very subtle.
Sure you want to do this?
Maybe the resolution drops a bit lower as well. But so far, both options work well. Okay, so far so good. It's a bit more stable, but not by much.
Sorry, not sorry. You kill him.
Okay, here we go again.
Salutations.
Okay, there goes nothing. There was a saving spot right here. Yeah, no, I'm not hitting anything like that. No, it wasn't this one.
Can you hear the dark?
Most games have to be done faster with easier methods. Yep. That's why optimizing is secondary. Just use upscaling, man. That's what they want to hear.
Uh-oh. Someone didn't kill me good enough.
I mean, it's still into the 30s. Ooh. Oops. So where was that spot? Okay, whatever. Let's see. Boss fight, boss fight. You think a switchboard will be a disaster? I don't think so. What really scares me about the Switch 2 version... Oh, the boss doesn't show up now. What the hell?
I came to collect.
Anyway, on portable mode, it actually worries me on Switch 2. Dock mode should be okay. The thing is, probably portable mode is unstable. That's my guess. But anyway, performance mode, I wouldn't say I recommend it. It does have worse draw distance, less grass, but the resolution doesn't seem that different to me.
No more day. You're all looking great from here.
Oops. Excuse me. Thank you. So anyway, performance mode, it still has reflections, still has 30 FPS, some more texture pop in, but overall, I don't think it makes a lot of sense to have it, considering quality looks a bit better and it's still 30 FPS for the most part. Do you recommend the game on Steam Deck? So far, yeah, sure, why not? One thing that I need to verify, super quick. Yeah, now the draw distance of this shadow is fine. I'm sure if the settings are bugged. But this shadow used to just pop into place. So it's hard for me to tell right now the difference between quality and performance. Let's see if this will be grass on quality mode. But performance mode, sure, if you're not satisfied with how it runs like on quality, but it's very subtle so far. Let's see. Okay, quality mode does add patches of grass as well. Okay, I have no reason to recommend performance. Unless you want... What's the name of this? Unless you want slightly better performance that you're probably not going to notice. I don't know. Show source. But I think you should restart the game if you change these presets, because you get real-time shader compilation. That won't be nice. Let me check if my screenshots are correct. Of course not. So, screenshot of that. Now we jump into quality mode. But it's interesting that they put two options. Again, probably inherited from the Switch 2 version. Okay, let's see. Can I open this? Hopefully, okay, you guys can see it. Awesome. Let's go to here, here. I think you can clearly notice which one is quality and which one is performance, but yeah, the one on the right is quality, the one on the left is performance. Ignore this 25 FPS thing, this is because it's compiling shaders there. And both are basically at 30 FPS. But again, I'm noticing better draw distance, a tiny bit higher resolution, and more grass. More grass in some places, some more terrain decoration, to say it in some way. So again, I don't see a reason to play on performance mode unless you are not satisfied with the performance in quality mode. It's more flat on performance mode. That's basically it. But again, restart the game after doing this change. That's my advice. The resolution doesn't seem to be that different. It's just more terrain decoration. Instead of grass, they could have bumped the resolution. Yep. Yep, I agree. This is quality mode now. Okay. Yeah, definitely quality mode is the way to play it. Oh, I forgot to restart the game. One sec. But when it comes to Borderlands 4 on Steam Deck, it's verified, yeah. I thought it was going to be another Oblivion remaster situation, but I'm honestly very surprised. I mean, when it comes to what Valve says, in this case it does make sense. It says all functionality is accessible using default controller, that's correct. Game shows Steam Deck controller icons, yes. In-game interface text is legible on Steam Deck. They have 3 options for size of the UI, so that's working pretty well. And they say this game's default graphics configuration performs well on Steam Deck. The thing is, again, performs well on Steam Deck, it's in the air. We don't know what this means. They don't say, oh, it's 20 FPS at 100p or 60 FPS at 800p. They just say performs well. They don't say exactly what that means. Performs well can be 30 FPS with stuttering, like Oblivion Remastered. It can be, I don't know, like Dragon Age The Veilguard, that is barely 30 with stuttering at ultra performance upscaling, which is less than 300p. In this case, I think it's justified. Performs well, makes sense. It doesn't look amazing, obviously. It's there. But it's pretty stable so far. I'm pretty surprised. I'm just questioning why they put 2 presets. I mean, quality works pretty well already. Performance, it does look worse on performance, but we're still not hitting very high above 30. It doesn't make sense to me. We will test Monster Hunter Wilds on Steam Deck after all the patches. Yes, I bought it recently. Monster Hunter Wilds, just to test that, because think about it this way. We were talking about optimization for a second. Monster Hunter Wilds, the developers posted on Twitter saying, hey man, we're making patches for performance on Monster Hunter Wilds. On March or April 2026, we're going to add level of detail. And I'm like, what? They didn't have level of detail on Monster Hunter Wilds? I mean, and there was also a bug that if you didn't have the DLC, the game checks every 3 seconds if you have DLC and it stutters. It's so stupid things that you'd say like, these are smart people, what happened? Yeah, I mean, the game is too intensive for how it looks, I agree. And look at that model that didn't load. But again, at the same time, I think it justifies what the Steam Deck thing configuration says, especially on quality mode. Just the fact that it works, considering how bad it runs on PC, I think it's a good thing. It's not perfect, but again, considering how this game is on every platform, it's pretty surprising to me. Okay, compile a few shaders. Let's move the camera a little bit. Because the first time you change the settings for quality or performance, you actually get some shitter compilation stutter, but it takes like 1 or 2 minutes at most. Okay, the textures for the ground are actually better now. This didn't look like this. Yeah, definitely go quality mode. No doubt about it. Oops. There it goes.
Was almost scared there for a moment.
Yeah, I mean, if you play it on handheld, this is going to be significantly better looking.
You were redundant.
I mean, I'm recording this live stream to convert it into a video, but before posting that video, I'm going to record how this looks like on handheld, because that's what makes it more impressive. The thing is, if you plug it into a TV, it's going to look bad. Which is what I'm doing right now, actually. It's connected to a capture card. So you can actually see raw pixels. But we're talking about a 7-inch screen. Let's see. Can I get a boss fight? No?
Let me help you with
I think they
that
patched that out, because you could get that boss fight as many times as you wanted. Have you played Borderlands 4? No. Never played one of those. But, well, I would recommend a 30 FPS cap on this. The 30 FPS cap from the SteamOS settings here doesn't feel great. I feel some latency. Yeah, it doesn't feel great with the 30 FPS cap from SteamOS. I wish the game had an option for that. It doesn't. But this is a way to save on battery, a bit of battery. With unlocked frame rates, is way more responsive, obviously. So that's up to you at that point. What's your opinion on the game anyway? I played like 2 hours of the game at most, not on Steam Deck, on all my testing videos. And I wanted to finish Borderlands 3 first. I finished 1 and 2. The third one, I never finished it. So I wanted to finish that one first, and then jump into this one. But again, this is, in my opinion, is not well optimized in general. It runs horrible on my PC, and I have a 4090. So yeah, I was expecting where it was. When I saw it was verified, I was like, what the hell they're talking about? Excuse me, I said out loud. But I'm actually very surprised on what they did here. Yeah, with a 30 FPS cap, I feel too much input lag. You can unlock the frame rate for way better input latency, but at the same time, remember that you get worse battery life. But yeah, it's way better. Come on, get up here. I have something for you, sir. I'm right here. I'm also noticing that the texture for the water is pretty low resolution, because I saw squares, repeated squares in the water as well.
You lose.
But again, we don't lose the reflections somehow. If we lost the reflections, it'll look like milk. But you can see the squares in the water. So again, I think they made cuts on things that make sense. Dynamic shadows, you don't have self-shadows. Characters don't have shadows from the sun. You have these kind of dynamic shadows that don't affect characters nor some small objects. But then when it comes to, I don't know, this thing, it does have dynamic shadows. So if you explode it, the shadow disappears from that object. So yeah, some objects do have that thing. Yeah, the manga hood frame limiter works better, yeah, that's true. But it requires to close the game. But just to show you that the dynamic shadows are there, this object casts shadows, so if I move it, I'm a ghost. So I mean, again, they made cuts where it makes sense. I don't need to have soft shadows, I don't need to have very high resolution shadows. These have some dithering, but again, shadows in real life are soft. And you keep the reflections. That's pretty damn cool. Also, draw distance is worse for the grass and the geometry. Resolution is pretty low, but again, we're talking about a Steam Deck on a UE5 game. So I think they did a pretty decent job. They made cuts where it made sense. Let's go to a bigger area. We're already in an open world, but I have more of the map unlocked. Yeah, this farm. Yeah, this is where I ended my stream when the game came out. Does this rely on frame gen? Nope. I couldn't notice any frame gen here. Just looking at the input lag, I didn't feel any frame gen. I'm going to enable it in a second from Lossless Scaling. Okay, let's load the map. Yeah, this is pretty low resolution, as you can notice. But again, the ideal thing would be to have it locked at 30 in a correct manner. Yeah, this part is more open. Yeah, here actually the resolution drops a bit lower. Now it actually stabilized the resolution. But again, it's pretty surprising. Let's see if I destroy this, does it remove the shadow? Yep, it did. So there's still actual real-time lighting because of the time of day changes and all that, because the sun is actually moving. But the big objects in the world still cast shadows in real time, which wasn't a thing before. So this is definitely below the PC's low setting. I thought it was going to be so much worse. This is very surprising. And again, if you look at it closely, the resolution is garbage, obviously. I mean, just look at that. Clear artifacting. But again, what were you expecting? It runs so bad on PC. There had to be a lot of compromises to get it to run on a handheld 5-year-old machine. That's what I'm trying to get to. It's not so bad, in my opinion. I would play the game like this. I don't know if the entire game, but to get a few rounds in between not being on my desk. I mean, again, you get out of the game, save file goes to the cloud, you go to your PC, and you can continue where you left off. Especially for doing side quests and stuff like that. I don't think it's bad. I'm going to have to point a camera in the video to show you how it looks on the smaller screen, because that's more of a realistic look at it. But my first impressions are that this is way better than I expected. This Fallout 3 looked like this. Now, Fallout 3 has less detail into the distance and worse models, worse lighting. It doesn't have real-time lighting like the sun moving. I mean, it's different. It's a 360 game. Like Borderlands 2. But my issue with Borderlands is like, it's a comic book style cartoonish game. You can fake the graphics pretty well. You don't need to make it super demanding. But again, in comparison to before, I'm shocked that they made it work like this. Clearly inherited from the Switch 2 version they're working on. And yet they did. Yep. Yeah, I mean, just look at it. I think they did a good job with the cuts. It's less obvious. If you're looking for the cuts, you'll find them. But for a cartoonish game, they did cuts that made sense, and the game still looks pretty decent. I mean, yeah, the grass pops in, but the grass texture that is flat still works out. I mean, I'm okay with that. Yeah, I mean, Witcher 4 is going to be super demanding, definitely. We'll see what happens. Anyway, let's try frame gen with lossless scaling. The game doesn't have a frame gen option. But since you guys always want me to do lossless scaling, I'm going to do it. So we go into Decky lossless frame gen VK. We copy the command here. We go into the properties for this game. We paste the command. And we launch the game again. This will give us frame gen. Quality mode plus lossless scaling 2x. Free runs great. Yeah, it does. It has stuttering, but that happens on all platforms. Yeah, Borderlands 3 is pretty old. It ran pretty poorly when it came out as well. I disable the FPS limits, first of all. Let's see. You can play VR games. I don't think the Steam Deck allows that, but if you're on Windows, you can actually do it. The Steam Deck screams when playing VR, though. Don't ask me how I know. Don't judge me. Oh, it's just... Dusty, it's just laziness. Yeah. Borderlands 2 is fantastic. I highly recommend that one. Which is a pretty common take, but still. Okay. Yeah, Haytham for... I love that the models take a few moments to show up on the full quality. Okay. Quality. We got everything. Let's continue. Okay. Does the game has to be DirectX game for the scaling to work? Not necessarily. Okay, here we go. Okay, I can definitely feel the input lag already, but let the game load the assets before I do anything. Yeah, I feel the input lag right away, which to be expected, obviously. Oof. I mean, it looks smooth, but I obviously feel the input lag. I feel it in... Because the base frame rate is obviously 30. Yeah, and I notice, if you look at the bottom of the screen, there's quite a bit of artifacting. Let me show you what I mean. If you look at the bottom of the screen, it's hard to tell on a video, but there's like a warping effect at the bottom of the screen. It's hard to tell without looking at it in real life. But if you don't mind some artifacting and input lag, it works. Let me do some combat. Oh, I think I can use my other character though. Motion blur is probably better. Yeah. I mean, there's no option for that. It's probably on by default, right? Have you tried FSR4 mod on Steam Deck? Yeah, destroys performance on every game I tried it on. So unless you have a lot of room to spare when it comes to performance, I don't think it's worth it. Super input lag and ghosting. Yeah, exactly. Let's see once we're into combat. That would be fun. Also, that 30 FPS is never good. Some people say it is, so that's why I try it every time.
Now you can
Yeah, I mean, if you look around the gun,
from Splash Zone Spot.
there is some weird ghosting when there's a lot of contrast. But before you say anything, yeah, I'm going to cap the GPU clock to like 1200. So I give the CPU some room and the GPU also some room for frame gen. Ah, man, the input lag. Yeah, there's a lot of ghosting. Or smearing on the screen. It's hard to explain. I mean, it does look smooth, but it feels horrible to play like this. So, I mean, if you're into that sort of thing, sure, why not? But there's a lot of smearing on the image. Ghosting artifacts. And it kind of makes sense because the game is already pretty visually a low resolution. So sometimes those broken pixels from stuff into the distance make the artifacts more apparent. So yeah, it works, but again, not my cup of tea. But it's a choice. Drunken effect, yeah, kinda. It's weird. This is one of those instances where you probably don't want frame gen. I mean, my brain cannot process the image looking smooth, but the game not feeling responsive. It kind of messes with my brain. But again, that's just me. Tend to try handheld, yeah, but not on stream, unfortunately. I'll have to do it for the video. So yeah. But yeah, no, frame gen, I do not recommend it for this game. It doesn't feel great. Yeah, the OBSBOT scaler update can also do its thing. But again, we're talking about a 30 FPS base. Okay, so one more thing before I go. Let me disable frame gen. And apart from that, we're going to try to launch the game without internet at all. I'm going to put it in airplane mode and try to launch and play the game. So we go in here, airplane mode, so no internet. And we're playing on quality mode. I think, again, performance mode, I don't think it makes a lot of sense, unless you are not satisfied with how the game runs. 40 FPS lock? No, not happening. It drops below 40 across the board. It's not consistent at all. Believe me, I checked it and it was hard. That's what he said. Spencer Walker 21, thank you so much for the 6.66 US dollars donation. He says, barely made it for the Devil Dono. Thank you for the Devil Dono, man. Thanks for always being there. How's it going? It's been a while. So much for Deck Verified. I mean, considering that the game launches by default on quality mode, the only thing for me to make it better is to have a proper 30 FPS lock. Other than that, it's pretty good so far. Considering how poorly the game runs on PC. Did forget my... Why do I have to scroll this? I have a save already for this. What the Okay, so I could launch the game without internet. That's good. And let's see. This game runs like a PS1 game. It looks like an N64 game. Not like an N64 game. I would say more like... It looks like Borderlands 2 on the Vita, but with better performance. I think that would be kind of right. But again, the responsiveness is on point. Input lag, barely there. It feels pretty responsive so far. What the hell? Oh, I don't have any more ammo. Duh. Definitely taking this. I just need, again, a proper 30 FPS cap. Oh, no wonder I couldn't land. Piece of crap. So, Borderlands 4 on Steam Deck. Personally, I think for the smaller screen, the resolution is decent enough. It's a pretty low resolution. Definitely in the 50%-ish range, at least on quality mode. When it comes to performance, it can drop pretty hard when you load the game, when you load the map, or when you fast travel far away. That's when it suffers the most, especially on the CPU side. And I also kept my GPU locked to 1200, don't do that. There we go. But I think considering that it ran at 20 FPS on the Prologue, that is nowhere close as demanding as this, and the fact that actually this runs horrible on PC, and they actually made the cuts in places that make a lot of sense. It's hard for me not to say this would be verified when it comes to Valve's verified thing. And thanks again, Spencer Walker, for the $6.66 US donation. He says, doing great, got a 3080 eGPU Gigabyte Aorus for 400. That's pretty cheap. Awesome. For your Legion Go 2. Easy was playing Path Race Minecraft Dog with your girlfriend. I'm happy that you're enjoying it, man. I wouldn't personally ever do an external GPU on a portable device, unless I didn't have a desktop. But that's great, man. Happy for you. Thanks again for the support. That's awesome. So as I was saying, I do think it makes sense that it's verified, considering how poorly it runs on PC. To me, it doesn't make sense that it runs like this on Steam Deck. I was expecting so much worse. I mean, there are games that are verified that run significantly worse than this, and look significantly worse than this. Personally, while the resolution is low, on the smaller screen it's less obvious, which I'm going to show you once I make the video. I have to record that. It's noticeable, but less obvious on the smaller screen. But you can play it between this and your PC. So you get progress, I don't know, for side quests on the Steam Deck, then the save goes to the cloud. You play it on your PC. Maybe you're on a plane ride and want to keep playing the game. You can do it. And the game doesn't look that bad, considering how bad it runs on PC. They made the cuts where it matters. On the shadows, on the draw distance, on the matte grass, on the resolution, obviously. So yeah, I wouldn't say it's a bad experience. It's just a compromised experience because it's a UE5 game that runs bad on Steam Deck. That is a device that came out like 5 years ago. And it's a portable device, so the sacrifices needed to be made. So yeah. I don't know. To me, again, it looks like Borderlands 2 on the Vita, quote unquote, but it runs better than Borderlands 2 on the Vita. But I mean, I'm happy they didn't completely remove shadows, that we have environmental shadows. But again, those pop in for a lot of assets. But again, without that, the game wouldn't even get to 30 on Steam Deck at all. I just need a proper 30 FPS cap. And the performance mode, I don't think it makes a lot of sense. Removes a lot of the grass, is worse pop in, and it doesn't get 40s on performance mode. Performance mode is just worse graphics with maybe a tiny bit higher resolution, but that's about it. So yeah, I get some people wouldn't play it like this, and that's okay, but I think if your only platform is Steam Deck, or maybe you play a lot on the go, I don't think it's a bad experience. I think it's decent enough. Again, I saw verified games that run significantly worse than this, that look also significantly worse than this. But obviously, just temper your expectations. It's not the same as playing it on a console that is plugged into the wall and has way better hardware. Is this the lowest possible settings? No, actually, the lowest possible settings is higher than this. This is below the lowest preset on PC. You want Halo 3 on Switch 2? I mean, if you get the Master Chief Collection on Switch 2, why not? On Steam Deck you can already play it. Oh, hi there. But
This'll be easy.
I want to thank the Nintendo Switch 2 for making this possible. If it wasn't for the Switch 2, probably Gearbox wouldn't have made lower than low settings for PC. So the Steam Deck has worse graphics than the lowest settings, and the game wouldn't be even 30 FPS. So again, thanks to the Switch 2 for existing. Otherwise, we wouldn't have this graphical preset to play on Steam Deck. The Switch 2 version was delayed, and now it's basically paused indefinitely. So yeah, for now, F's in the chat for the Switch 2 version. Hopefully it happens. Once it does, I'll do a video, obviously. But again, huge thanks to the Switch 2 for making this possible. We will never forget your input for the performance on more UE5 games that are coming. So yeah, thanks again guys for watching. This will be a video. I'll show you what it looks like on the smaller screen as well. I think it's pretty decent, all things considered. I was expecting way worse. And hopefully we get the Switch 2 version at some point. But as of right now, it does work on Steam Deck, it's verified, but obviously there's a lot of cuts, but you don't need to do any tweaks manually to make it work like this, which I think is the main thing. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video, I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Bye guys, thanks for watching, thank you for being here. I hope I can do another stream very, very soon, because it's taken a while. Hasta la próxima. Gracias por mirar.